Alright, so here I am on my back porch again, and didn't look like it, but I did actually clean up around here. But I'm in my little cubby hole. I feel like I'm working in a cubicle. I'm doing this so I don't have to work in a cubicle and sit there on my ass, but here I am. This one looks like it's in really good shape. I guess I'm going to start just by doing the basic, I'll check and see if there's gas in there. I'm sure it's pretty old. And there's oil in it, and it looks good. That's good. Let me pull it and make sure it's not bound up. No problem. That feels like it's running pretty smooth. I'm going to take the air filter out. Filter actually looks pretty good. I'll just clean off the pre-filter there. And that's usable. Man, everything looks pretty darn clean. Spark plug. It looks clean. I'll probably take that off and make sure it's gapped okay and all that good stuff. But the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to spray some carb cleaner down into the carburetor and see if it starts just running off the carb cleaner, or I don't have any starter fluid. I don't see any of my carb cleaner either. It's probably in the garage. But that's probably due. I'll spray some in there and see if it'll crank over just off of the carb cleaner. If so, then I know we have either a carburetor problem, a fuel problem up to the hose, and probably get rid of this old gas. But I'll be right back. Alright, so I found my carb cleaner, and I put on some gloves so that I won't smell like gas the rest of the day. Well, I probably still will, and no big deal. I like the smell of oil and gas. To tell you the truth, I don't mind it at all. That should be enough in there. It's an auto choke, and that seems to be working fine. Let's see if it'll crank over. See, it tried. Let's get some more in there. Okay. I was expecting a little more out of it, but at least we know that it's trying to fire up. So we probably don't have a spark problem or magneto problem or spark plug or anything like that. And the cables seem to be in good shape, so no doubt it's a carburetor or fuel line problem. And that's what I was expecting. So I'll go ahead and take the carburetor off, clean it up, and flush the fuel line and double check this gas. I don't think. Oh, it still smells strong. Sometimes you can smell gas and you know it's bad. This one's borderline. So this looks pretty standard. I mean, there's so it looks pretty standard. A couple of 10mm. No, are those 10 or 8? I believe they're 8. 8mm bolts here. I'm going to pinch off the fuel line. And let's get this sucker off. There's the fuel line. Let me find some pliers. I was looking for my needle nose, but they have disappeared. There we go. It's a little dirty, but the gaskets are good. There we go. And those are 8s also to get the carburetor off. And there's the choke. And I think this is, looks like it has skipped a link here. Yep, springs off, and this should be on this other side. You can see how the choke is not, it's not choking. That should be way over here. Yep. Put the spring back in place. It's a little bitter, but I'm sure we'll redo it once I get the carburetor off. It's coming out now. Before it was, you can see when I was twisting the carburetor around, no gas came out at all. So it's definitely clogged. We'll see how bad it is. Yeah, I can see a bunch of it on the bottom here, and this thing looks pretty clogged. Okay, not too bad. I mean, you can still see some varnish in there, but it's not as bad as some I've seen, so that's good. Here's my brush. And once I dig down, and yeah, I would bet I can clean this stuff up and all that good stuff, but I'll bet this is the piece that has been, that's the main culprit. You can see how it's all caked in. So it's not letting anything through. Let me get this gasket off of here. Be careful not to damage it. And I think that's going to do it. Well, I didn't check these little pieces here. If I can get my pen. I have to make sure these are free and clear too. Yep, no problem. Alright, I just want to make sure none of the junk's gonna fall back in there. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. Didn't have a good camera angle there. That's on. Yeah, see this one, that's why I don't like those gaskets in there. This I can feel the tension, and it's not quite at 90 degrees. So it shuts off. I'll bet this one kind of shuts off early if the fuel's not flowing freely into the bowl. It's only going to go up to about right here, when it should just a tiny bit more. But there's no adjustability on these, you know. It's it is what it is. Get all that junk off. All right, it is done. Get that twisted down. There we go. This piece is supposed to slide over, but it looks like it's pretty worn out. Gasket's in place. Lined up. Let's see if I can get this little vent hose back on. It's barely on. And gas is in there. Let's I'm gonna spray some cleaner in there just to prime the pump. Let's see if she'll start. All right. It sure is trying, isn't it? I think I'm going to drain that gas out of there. So I'm draining the gas out, and I'm gonna loosen that up. I believe that got most of it. So that bothers me there. There was no gas in the bowl. So remember I was showing you where the bowl float seemed like it was sealing too quick. That might be the problem. Yeah, see, it's engaging way too quick. All that looks clean, and the bowl looks good. It's just that little gasket that's in there. Let me get a little screwdriver. I don't want to damage it because I know I don't have a replacement. I want to make sure that the little gasket was seated all the way down. I'm just lightly putting pressure on it just to make sure it was seated. And I'm trying to get it out without damaging it any further. If I had a replacement, yeah, I think a piece just came out of there. If I had a replacement gasket, I usually get a screw, like a sheet metal screw, and you kind of screw it into the plastic and then pop it out, right? But I'm trying not to damage this one. But I think it's damaged already. But you can see what's going on in there. I don't know if you can see it or not. Down in the hole you see the little red gaskets that's in there. So I'm going to go ahead and put this little fuel shut off while I'm waiting for the new gaskets to come in. That way this mower will still be usable while we wait for the part. So I'm measuring it off. You can see I'm going to cut the fuel line here, insert it, and then cut the fuel line, yeah, about the same spot, going this way, and right at that 90-degree turn. And I've got the little fuel clamps. I have to double check. Some of these they come real small. But I think I've got another set in here too, but we'll see. And I also checked, so when everything's assembled, you know, nothing's in the way. It should fit pretty nicely, actually. There we go. So I can take the hose clamp off now, and it's in the off position. So it should be filling the bowl right now, and without the little gasket in there, pretty soon you'll start to see the gas start dripping out. Yep, there it is. So we'll turn it off, and there you go. It stopped it. least it's running, but we do need that gasket. It's got a fuel shut-off valve on it now, but I don't think it's working like it should. It has a tendency, it looks like it has a tendency to flood. Alright, so at least we know the mower's running, because this is a kind of a nice one. And I got the fuel shut-off valve on it. But we definitely need the gaskets, because you can tell there's so much fuel going in there, it's not burning it off fast enough, and it's tending to flood it out and stop it. I'm going to run it for a while again and see how long it'll go and play with it. But I'll definitely get those little gaskets on order, and I ordered according to the part number. I looked up, did the usual, looked up the model for this particular engine, and then looked at the diagram for the engine and the carburetor, and then got the part number for all the correct components. And I went and bought in bulk on Amazon. But it turns out I don't think these gaskets are fitting on that carburetor. See how that is just, I mean, there's no way any gas is going to get through that. I mean, it's already bottoming out right here. And when I take it back apart, oops, that didn't help. Yeah, see right here, just banging it around, it just comes right out. Just the little gaskets that come from in bulk from Amazon is not, they don't have it cross-referenced correctly. It does not fit this carburetor. But oh well, it wasn't that expensive. Those little gaskets will come in handy for sure on other mowers. And the more I looked at it, it's like, man, instead of just getting all these little replacement parts again, I found an aftermarket carburetor for $16, and I'm just going to get the whole damn thing and then install it. So that's where I'm at. Alright, so the carburetor got here very quickly. There's the aftermarket. And there's the factory one. Alright, well. Alright, so I'm going to put this on real quick, and then we'll see how she runs. I don't think I'll bother filming the installation. This video is already pretty long, so I'll just put it on there, and I'll tune back in when I'm ready to start it. Okay, so the new carburetor is installed. Gas is on, and I don't see any leaks, anything like that, so it should start up and run pretty good. I'm about to give it a shot. I'm just letting the carburetor bowl fill, and I should have primed the carburetor while I was at it, but I already got the air cleaner on, so let's just move it out here in the yard. Alright, actually sounds pretty good. It's pretty quiet for such a big engine. And the last thing I'll do, I just noticed, see the wheel is, the toe is off, and I can see this bracket right here is kind of bent. So I'll probably bend that back, try to, and I'll bring this back over to my neighbor. I think she'll appreciate that, because this is a super nice mower, if you ask me. So that was it. It's a pretty nice mower, not bad. It's all running, and for a total cost of about $18, and a few hours of my time going in circles with it. But it's in good shape, so on to the next one.